Starting this year in Oregon, scrapyards can only buy catalytic converters from licensed commercial sellers or the vehicle's owner. The hope was this would cut down on people stealing parts from vehicles and selling them down the street for cash. The reality, so far, it's not helping.
I can't imagine that everything's not escalating.
Donna Gramont likes walking to work, but right now, she doesn't have a choice. Last month, thieves stole her catalytic converter for a third time since September. They pulled up behind her car, which was parked outside her work in East Portland, and a man used a power tool to cut it off. It took just 27 seconds. So you're forced to make this walk to and from work every day now. When you're making this walk, what are you thinking?
I actually live close enough to work where I could actually walk to work. But I know that not everybody can do that. Some people use their car on a daily basis for their children, for work.
And each time her catalytic converter gets stolen, Donna has had to wait months for repairs.
You hear that loud sound pulling up and you just know it's about to be a really tough conversation.
Irina Rusu is a service advisor at Ron Tonkin Toyota in Portland. She says they used to replace a car's catalytic converter once every 2 or 3 weeks. Now, they're flooded with people needing repairs.
I mean, at our dealership alone, 5 a day, give or take on average, and there's however many dealerships in the area that are experiencing the exact same thing. There's just no words to describe how bad it is.
While car owners are desperate for repairs, the increase in thefts has created a waiting game for new parts.
And it's putting a really bad back order on all of the catalytic converter shipments to where we're having to wait weeks, sometimes months for a part to come in.
Gresham police received 600 reports of catalytic converter thefts since January 2020. More than 2/3 of those thefts were reported in the last year. Beaverton police averaged less than 1 reported theft per month in 2020. Now they get a report of a stolen catalytic converter nearly every day. And in Hillsborough, police report similar trends. Why is this happening?
That is a great question. It's a crime that is committed extremely fast, takes little to no skill, and it's a quick payoff for what they're getting out of it.
Hillsborough Police Sergeant Clint Churs points out the value of metals used to make catalytic converters, like rhodium, have skyrocketed over the past few years. Churs says police suspect catalytic converters are being shipped out in box vans. These photos, taken from an apartment complex in Gresham, show men loading up dozens of catalytic converters in the back of a rental.
From what we're seeing, they're not being sold in Oregon, okay? We think they're being transported out of state and potentially out of the country.
That's concerning for state lawmakers like Senator Chris Gorsuch. He sponsored Senate Bill 803, which went into effect in January, making it illegal for Oregon scrap metal businesses to buy catalytic converters unless the seller proves ownership. Gorsuch hoped stricter rules would deter thefts.
And so far, the jury is still out.
But after the first few months of this year, Churs says it's clear that bill is not the answer.
Unfortunately, and the reality, at the Hillsborough Police Department, we have not seen a decrease in catalytic converter thefts since that law took effect in January. We've actually seen a slight increase.
Hillsborough police received less than 2 reports of catalytic converter thefts each month in 2020, about 13 per month in 2021, and 20 per month in the first 4 months of 2022. Ultimately, based on the data and the reports you're getting, this seems like it's getting worse?
Yes, it is not changing and it is only increasing.
So, I would guess, based on where we are right now, that we're going to have to come back at this in the next session for sure.
So while she waits for a third replacement catalytic converter, Gramont feels she'll probably get hers stolen again.
They're getting caught on camera and they just seem to be doing it. And so nobody's coming after them. And so I think they keep doing it.
Depending on your insurance, it can cost hundreds or thousands of dollars to replace a catalytic converter. Police say it can be difficult to catch thieves based on their resources and how quickly this part can be sawed off. Gramont told me she's filed 3 police reports with the Portland Police Bureau and never heard back, including long unanswered calls to the non-emergency line.
Evan, this is just so infuriating, and I'm sure it hits people who are parking their cars on the streets. Maybe they don't have a garage or carport they can put it in. Maybe they do, and it happens anyway. And then we pass this law, and it's still happening. So is there anything people can do to prevent this?
Unfortunately, not much right now. Police say it would be helpful to engrave your car's catalytic converter with a VIN number or a license plate number so that if they recover stolen parts, it can be traced back to you. Vermont, for example, is buying a protective shield of sorts for her car, but that costs hundreds of dollars. And other than that, watch out for anything suspicious in your neighborhood, parking lots, places like that.
Wow, just infuriating. All right, thank you, Evan.